An expected boring chapter turned into one of the best backstories of the Oshi No Ko series. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Oshi No Ko video. I didn't have too high of hopes for this week's chapter, but I had to say Aqua really did surprise me. It's good to take a break from Aqua and Ruby once in a while, especially since their relationship is being slapped in my face every 10 minutes. But enough of Ruby and Aqua, let's stop talking about them and move on to chapter 125 of Oshi No Ko, and more importantly, Miyako's backstory. Enter a breakdown. Chapter starts off exactly like I said it would, Ichigo trying to get away from Miyako as soon as possible. Miyako rushes out of the bar and immediately chases after Ichigo, even chucking her heel at him and knocking him over. I like how Akka darkens the characters' faces to show they're angry like he did with Miyako in this scene, as he normally will do this with Kana when she's upset about something. Miyako gets on top of Ichigo, and I thought she was going to start yelling at him for leaving her all this time, but instead she tells Ichigo that he gave up on their promise. She does ask him what he's been doing all this time, but Miyako seems to be upset about something else. Then we start to get into Miyako's backstory, as she starts by telling us how she fell in love with the city of Tokyo, specifically the nightlife. I love the analogy Miyako uses, telling us how the city is like a game. And what I kind of took away from Miyako's explanation is that the smaller enemies Miyako is referring to are people who don't have a lot of money. And in order to level up or get to people that have more money, she has to first get money from the people who are the small enemies so she can level up or enhance her beauty so she can move on to stronger bosses. The stronger the boss, the more money they have. We get a better understanding of the ranking of bosses to the amount of money they have when Miyako tells us she earned a lot of experience from IT managers and investors, basically people who have a lot of money and in Miyako's eyes have a lot of EXP. Then Miyako explains how the type of job you have unlocks stronger bosses or people with more money, as we start to see her change jobs while also getting stronger. Miyako tells us the city of Tokyo is kinda strong people, basically saying that the people of Tokyo are kinda good looking people, and since Miyako has enhanced her beauty from all the XP or money she gained, she started to become more acknowledged. But after some time, Miyako maxed out of her EXP, or in her case starts to get older and less pretty, and less people start talking to her. She explains that Tokyo is full of pretty younger girls, so it's only a matter of time until you get replaced. Very similar to the entertainment industry. As Miyako gets older, the only action she can get is if she's introducing cuter younger girls to the stronger bosses. Miyako knows her time is running out and she's barely clinging on to this Tokyo nightlife lifestyle. It's at this time when she finally meets Ichigo. Miyako tells us she loves dazzling things, so I'm guessing the only reason she stuck around Ichigo was because he had money and was the only guy who'd take her in. And while this is probably somewhat true, I think the reason Miyako stuck around Ichigo for so long was because of Ai. Once Miyako saw her perform, she started to realize it wasn't too bad being behind the curtains. There's a really nice parallel to this panel during Ruby and Bikomachi's performance, where we can see Miyako enjoying the show in the shadows. We see her admiring the sparkling dazzle Ruby and Bikomachi are giving off. We then cut to a scene where Ichigo asks Miyako if she'll be there to support him. Ichigo promises if she does, he'll show her the most dazzling thing she's ever seen. A dome full of glow sticks surrounding the biggest star. Miyako envisions the scene in her head, and then Ichigo's dream also becomes Miyako's dream as well. Then the flashback ends and we're back to the present. Miyako brings up that same promise and accuses Ichigo of giving up and running away. In tears, Miyako yells that she hasn't given up yet, and the chapter ends with Miyako saying it just wasn't Ichigo's dream, it was everyone's dream. Wow, probably one of the most hardest and in-depth analysis I've ever had to do. Lots of things I can address, but I'll start off with Miyako's dream. The title of this chapter is called Dazzle. My first time I read the chapter, it didn't occur to me, but I think I get what Miyako's backstory was all about. All Miyako's life, or well, college life, she chased after shiny things, leveling up so she could buy shiny and shinier things until they weren't satisfying her anymore. And she continued to look and look for the most dazzling thing, but wasn't able to find it until she met Ichigo. And the reason she's so set on Ichigo's promise is because, well, Miyako loves shiny things, and she so desperately wants to see this dazzling thing Ichigo promised. Even though Ichigo's star is dead, Miyako isn't giving up, as she still believes that the dazzling star is still out there and most likely sees it in Ruby. And while this chapter seems like an absolute masterpiece from Akka, I have to say there is a minor flaw that I found. You see, this backstory takes place before Aqua and Ruby's birth, and during the time when Miyako was forced to take care of Ruby and Aqua, Miyako was pissed. She was even willing to expose Ai's secret for cash. So I think Miyako needs to take a breath and not get so mad at Ichigo, because the first one to give up on their dream was Miyako. Had it not been for Aqua talking Miyako out of it, Miyako would have been the one to first give up on their dream. Now the timeline is a bit complex and I could be wrong, but it's definitely worth thinking about, as I think it's just a minor plot hole in the story. Okay, moving on for my predictions for next chapter. I think Ichigo is going to start firing back at Miyako. Ichigo's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes and has kind of moved on from his dream of having a star perform perform at the dome and is more focused on avenging Ai. However, deep down, I think that Ichigo has been secretly planning something. We all saw how Ichigo was privately meeting with Ruby, trying to get her at the top of the entertainment world. And a part of me thinks that while they were both working towards avenging Ai, they were also both working towards one day performing at the dome. I think Ichigo definitely remembers his promise to Miyako and has just kind of moved away from it for a while, but he's definitely planning something and is going to explain it to us in the next coming chapters. But what were your thoughts on Miyako's backstory? Do you think Ichigo has a plan to get Ruby to perform at the dome? When will we get back to the movie production? Lots of things to think about, and as I write this, ideas continue to just flood into my head as to what's going to happen next. But as always, I thank you for watching this video. Oshi No Ko goes on break this week and will be back August 9th. Not sure if these are related or not, but Oshi No Ko, Chainsaw Man, and My Hero Academia are all on break next week, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna come up with any video ideas, so if you have any, please drop them in the comments. Go ahead and like this video to help me cope with this horrible dilemma, sub if you haven't already, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.